Ninja. In 2019, Twitch's biggest star dropped a bombshell. Tyler Ninja Blevins, the face of Fortnite and a streaming icon, announced he was leaving Twitch for Microsoft's Mixer platform. The move alone was industry-shaking, but it was Twitch's reaction that turned it into a full-blown scandal. In the days after Ninja's departure, Twitch started using his now inactive channel to promote other streamers. That had never happened before, but it got worse. One of the promoted channels ended up displaying explicit adult content directly on Ninja's old page. His brand was built on being family-friendly, and fans were outraged. Ninja publicly called Twitch out, accusing them of being petty and disrespectful. Twitch scrambled to apologize, claiming it was an accident and that they had removed the feature, but it was too late. A platform that once celebrated its creators suddenly looked hostile and unprofessional. Ninja may have been the one who left, but Twitch's response made them look like the bitter ex. It was a PR nightmare, and a turning point in how creators viewed the platform's loyalty. Alinity. In 2019, Twitch streamer Alinity faced massive backlash after a clip went viral showing her tossing her cat over her shoulder mid-stream. In another clip, she appeared to let her dog get uncomfortably close to her face while licking, and in yet another, she seemingly fed her cat vodka. Viewers were stunned, and the internet exploded with accusations of animal abuse. The hashtag #BanAlinity trended for days, with even major personalities like PewDiePie and Keemstar weighing in. What fueled the fire even more was Twitch's response, or rather, the lack of one. Despite Twitch's reputation for handing out bans over minor infractions, Alinity remained untouched for weeks. Critics accused the platform of favoritism, sparking debates about whether popular streamers were being protected. Alinity eventually addressed the situation, saying she loved her pets and didn't mean any harm, but the damage was already done. She voluntarily took a brief break from streaming, but the controversy stuck. For many, it became a symbol of Twitch's inconsistent moderation and preferential treatment, and a scandal that haunted her reputation for years. Dr. Disrespect. In June 2020, Twitch suddenly and permanently banned one of its biggest stars, Dr. Disrespect. No warning, no statement, no explanation. One day, he was live, the next he was gone. Fans were confused, journalists scrambled for answers, and even Doc himself claimed he didn't know the reason. The silence fueled wild speculation. Rumors ranged from legal issues to contract disputes, but nothing was ever confirmed. Twitch had just re-signed him to a multi-million-dollar deal months prior, which made the sudden removal even more bizarre. The lack of transparency set the internet on fire. YouTube videos dissected every frame of his final stream. Reddit threads tried to piece together a theory, and conspiracy speculation ran rampant. Eventually, Dr. Disrespect re-emerged on YouTube, but the questions never went away. Why was he banned? What really happened? To this day, neither Twitch nor Doc has revealed the story. The situation remains one of the most mysterious and controversial moments in streaming history. It wasn't just a ban, it was a black hole of silence that changed how people saw Twitch forever. PogChamp. For years, the PogChamp emote was one of the most iconic symbols on Twitch, used to express hype, shock, or pure disbelief. But in January 2021, everything changed. The face behind the emote, Ryan Gutex Gutierrez, posted controversial tweets supporting unrest during the US Capitol riots. Twitch responded immediately, removing the emote within hours, stating that the face of PogChamp no longer represented the community's values. While many agreed with the decision, it sparked a massive debate. Was Twitch being reactive or responsible? Some felt it was justified, while others accused Twitch of selective enforcement and inconsistency, pointing out past inaction in other cases. In the days that followed, Twitch launched a rotating PogChamp of the Day initiative, replacing the emote's face daily with different streamers from the community. The experiment was praised for its inclusivity, but also criticized for feeling like a PR patch. Eventually, a new permanent PogChamp was chosen, but the original's removal marked a clear cultural shift. Twitch wasn't just moderating emotes anymore, it was taking a stand, and not everyone was on board. Gambling. In 2022, Twitch found itself in the middle of a heated debate over gambling streams. High-profile creators like XQC, Trainwrecks TV, and others were raking in massive viewership while streaming slots and crypto casino games, often sponsored by offshore gambling sites. These weren't harmless wagers either. Streamers were gambling with hundreds of thousands of dollars on air. Many fans, especially younger viewers, were watching their favorite creators bet real money in real time, and that raised red flags. Critics accused Twitch of enabling addiction, promoting shady sites, and failing to protect vulnerable audiences. Things boiled over when streamer Slicker admitted to scamming fans and fellow creators out of over $200,000 to feed his gambling habit. That confession sent shockwaves across the platform. Suddenly, streamers like Pokimane and Mizkif were calling for a site-wide ban on gambling content. Under intense pressure, Twitch finally responded by banning streams of unlicensed gambling sites like Stake.com and limiting gambling content. But for many, it was far too late. Twitch had let the trend go unchecked, and it took a scandal of that scale to force action. Ice Poseidon. Paul Ice Poseidon was once seen as a pioneer of IRL streaming, pushing the boundaries of live content in real-world settings. But his rise on Twitch came with chaos. His streams were unpredictable, raw, and often downright dangerous. Fans would routinely swat him by calling in fake threats to get police to show up live on stream. One infamous incident involved a bomb threat at an airport right before a flight, which led to his arrest and Twitch stepping in. They banned him permanently in 2017, citing safety concerns and violations of their terms of service. But even after the ban, the controversy didn't stop. Ice's streams on other platforms became breeding grounds for toxicity, often fueled by his own unfiltered behavior. Critics said he encouraged harassment, racism, and real-world confrontations for views. What started as edgy content slowly unraveled into something darker. His Twitch ban marked more than just the end of his career on that platform. It symbolized the moment Twitch decided to draw the line. But by then, Ice had already set a precedent many would later regret following. Amaranth. In 2022, Twitch star Amaranth shocked her audience with a revelation that changed how people saw her, and Twitch as a whole. Known for her hot tub streams, ASMR, and pushing the boundaries of Twitch's content guidelines, she'd often been criticized for farming views. But then, on a live stream, she broke down and revealed she was in an abusive marriage. She claimed her husband had been controlling her finances, threatening her career, and forcing her to stream certain content. Viewers were stunned. For years, she'd been the poster child for Twitch's risque meta content, but now it seemed that wasn't entirely by choice. The platform that had made her a top earner and suddenly looked like it had unknowingly profited from her suffering. Fans rallied in support, fellow creators expressed concern, and Twitch faced renewed criticism for how it moderates, or fails to moderate, behind-the-scenes abuse. Amaranth later regained control of her accounts and took time off, but the incident cracked the glossy surface of Twitch stardom. It was a brutal reminder that even the biggest streamers can be silently trapped behind the screen. Gideon vs Pokimane. In early 2022, YouTuber Gideon sparked one of the most chaotic streamer feuds in Twitch history. It started when he encouraged his fanbase to spam Pokimane's chat with harassment during one of her live streams. What began as trolling quickly escalated into full-on hate raids, forcing Pokimane to abruptly end her stream. Twitch acted fast, hitting Gideon with a 14-day suspension, but when it became clear he had violated serious harassment policies, that turned into a permanent ban. Gideon initially leaned into the chaos, mocking the situation on social media and stoking the fire. But then the story took a surprising turn. Weeks later, Gideon publicly apologized to Pokimane, and the two even collaborated on content together. It was a bizarre full-circle moment, from targeted harassment to wild reconciliation. But for Twitch, the situation exposed how quickly mob behavior can spiral when platforms or influencers aren't careful. It also sparked deeper conversations about sexism on Twitch, streamer safety, and how moderation can feel reactive instead of proactive. Gideon's ban still stands, but the scandal left a mark on Twitch culture that hasn't faded. TwitchCon. TwitchCon 2022 was supposed to be a celebration, a way for streamers and fans to finally connect in person again. Instead, it made headlines for all the wrong reasons. One of the convention's most popular attractions was a foam pit set up for a gladiator-style jousting game, sponsored by Lenovo and Intel. But the pit wasn't deep enough, and it wasn't safe. Streamer Adriana Chechik jumped into it after winning a match, only to land hard on her tailbone and break her back in 2 places. The video went viral instantly. People were horrified as the clip showed her twisting midair and landing directly on her spine. She needed surgery and months of recovery. Other attendees reported injuries too, and it quickly became clear the foam pit wasn't properly designed or supervised. Twitch tried to distance itself, but since it happened at TwitchCon, the brand took a hit anyway. What should have been a fun, fan-friendly event turned into a PR disaster. It wasn't just an accident, it was a preventable one, and it made Twitch look recklessly unprepared. Twitch's revenue split. In 2022, Twitch stunned the streaming world by announcing a controversial change to its revenue split for top creators. For years, some streamers had secured premium 70-30 revenue deals, meaning they kept 70% of subscription income while Twitch took 30%. But suddenly, Twitch declared it was capping those deals at $100,000 annually, after which creators would revert to the standard 50-50 split. For many, this felt like a slap in the face. Top streamers who had helped build the platform were being told their loyalty and success now came with a penalty. Twitch justified the move by citing rising costs and infrastructure demands, but the community wasn't buying it, especially with parent company Amazon behind the scenes. Creators like Asmongold, Ludwig, and others openly criticized the decision, comparing Twitch's split to YouTube's more generous 70-30 offer. The announcement sparked a wave of discontent and pushed even more streamers to explore alternative platforms. It wasn't just about money, it was about trust. And in that moment, Twitch made it clear, profits came before partnerships. Thanks for watching. Subscribe for more.